Hello everyone, welcome back to the latest update series of Drishti IAS. This is Divya Kawatra and today we are going to discuss about UK's unwritten constitution and the problems it is bringing along with it and how the latest leaders are constantly trying to change this. Let's understand how does our unwritten constitution work? How is it working for UK? Why do they have an unwritten constitution? Why not a written one like India? And what are the differences between Indian constitution and UK's constitution? And if they want to go to written constitution, what should they do? All right. Okay, let's answer all these questions one by one and understand this. Why is it in news? Because the British Prime Minister Andy Burnham has reignited the constitutional debate by calling UK Kingdom to adopt written constitution. He's saying that you should have a written constitution. Why is he saying that? He put forward an argument saying that Britain's political system needs stronger checks on executive power. Number one, stronger check on executive power. That means executive is going out of hand. That indirectly tells us executive is somewhere going out of hand and misusing the power and misusing the loopholes that are available in an unwritten constitution. The second thing is clearer constitutional safeguards. Because it is not written, every safeguard can be manipulated, can be modeled out as per the time, as per the need, without any strict, stringent procedure. Right? So these are the conditions and the reasons that he has put forward and the argument that he has given, asking that we move towards a written constitution, asking UK to move towards a written constitution. All right. Let's understand more about this. Why is he pushing towards a written constitution? What are the examples or methods that he is citing here? First of all, he's saying that regional devolution and equality should be established. Burnham said that UK's current political structure holds power within Westminster and Whitehall, leading to deep regional economic disparities. Regional economic disparities are occurring because power and everything is concentrated among few of others, right? There is no other procedure here. He's saying that a codified constitution will give equivalent living standards. Like India has a welfare system, right? We take more tax from the rich people and do the welfare of the poor people. That is how we work in the Robin Hood method, right? So they're saying that equivalent living standards are not here. Why? Because we don't have a codified constitution across all the regions of the postcodes. This is inspired by Germany's post-war Grances, that is basic law. Germany adopted that and that is working very fine, and he's inspired by that and he wants to work towards such a structure. All right. Now they're saying that fixing an antiquated system. Burnham, who has also written a book, Head North, and the Liverpool City Region Mayor Steve Rotheram, he said that because UK never fully transitioned away from a centralized feudal style state structure, local and regional authorities don't have any protection on non-negotiable powers. There are no powers that are negotiable, non-negotiable, and they have constantly delivered that. There is no such power, right? Why? Because we never fully walked away from the ancestral system to create something new of the modern texture, right? Thirdly, is saying that codifying devolution. His proposal is saying to entrench the rights of devolved regions like England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland. Why? So that local funding and policy making authority cannot be easily stripped away or altered by simple parliamentary majority in Westminster. What happens is, whenever they're giving the power, a simple power majority comes in Westminster, they modify it, everything changes again, and all the powers are stripped away. That way, the locals never have a stable, stagnant power. They never get that control. They never get that confidence, because the moment they start working towards something, a resolution will be passed in Westminster and everything will be dropped down. So why should they work so hard towards it? They don't want to work hard towards it, because anything and everything they do will be washed away just by a simple majority, and that is not fair. Is it now? Just imagine all the welfare schemes running in India, every effort that is being done, a simple majority provision in the parliament, and everything is washed away. Would you want that? Would you feel secure in the country if that was happening? Would you feel secure about any other upcoming welfare scheme? We are happy about it today, But just imagine if you knew that any time it could be stripped off, you'd be like, what is the purpose? Why did you even bring it? Tomorrow you will stripe it down. So what is the use? We'll lack faith. We'll lose our confidence in that. That is what is happening in Britain. They're saying that any power, anything that you give can be stripped off so easily that it does not give the local bodies any confidence to do anything better for their region. Right? That's why the regional disparities, be it economic, be it political, they keep rising. Clear? Do we understand the problem here? All right. So now the question, like, if it is so bad, why does UK have this? Like, why at all have this structure? Why to begin with? Right? Let's understand the why here. Why don't they have a single written constitution like India? Now, unlike US, India, Germany, UK is one of the few major democracies without any constitution. It has a constitution. It is not like it doesn't have a constitution. It has an uncodified constitution. That is the problem, right? They have uncodified constitution made of multiple sources. They're depending on multiple sources. Like for statute law, acts of the parliament are passed over time. Examples: Magna Carta, Bill of Rights, Scotland Act. They keep passing an act on every situation. For common law, legal precedents established by court judges over centuries and centuries, the precedents are going on. Fundamental rights and judicial interpretations are all under the legal precedent rather than a proper codification. Like we have proper fundamental rights. If they are violated, then we go to the court. For them, if they want to know the right, they go to the court directly. They go to the previous precedents directly. Do you see the difference? If I want to enjoy my right today, I say that I have the right to follow any religion, let's say, right? So if I want to exercise that right, I'll directly go to the fundamental rights column, see that, okay, I have this right, I will follow it. And if somebody doesn't allow me to follow it, I will go to the Supreme Court, ask them to give a precedent on that, right? There, they don't have fundamental rights listed out. They only have precedents. So they directly have to go to the Supreme Court precedents. Do you understand the difference here? Right? Exactly. Then the constitutional conventions, unwritten customs, traditions that are followed by binding the rules. Right? Prime Minister must command a majority in the House of Commons. Prime Minister can command that. You see how random things are. Historical treaties, international and internal agreements forming the Union, Acts of Union 1707, that is still running. It is actually running. It is in practice. Just imagine. That is still in practice. Okay. From 1707, uniting England and Scotland, that is still working. They don't have anything renewed. They don't have anything under new circumstances, new agreements, nothing. It is still running. That is how they're running based on precedents, etc. But why? But why? Number one, evolution over revolution. Most written constitutions followed a major historic crisis, revolution, nation building event, like for India independence, US independence, French Revolution, post-World War structures. Britain's system evolved incrementally over centuries without a resetting moment. They never had a resetting moment like, okay, everything is crushed. Let's start from the scratch and let's build a new thing. Britain never had that. Because of that, they were never able to build something totally new. They only let something in incremental value. They kept increasing their codes, their norms, and further adding more and more and more precedents. That's it. No structural change, nothing to be built from scratch once again. Right? Number one reason. Second is parliamentary sovereignty. A core tenet of the UK law is that Parliament is supreme. Under the current doctrine, no Parliament can pass law that a future Parliament cannot repeal or amend by a simple majority vote. Rigid, written constitution would limit Parliament's power and put fundamental rules beyond ordinary legislation. And obviously, why would Parliament want to lose that power? Parliament is supreme. Today, anything that is passed tomorrow can be stripped away by a simple majority. Just imagine. Anything and everything. Why would they want to lose that power? They would never want to do that, right? So that's why they're not even moving towards this. All right? Exactly. However, there are political implications and challenges regarding this, like constraints on Westminster. Experts have said that codifying a constitution would represent massive departure from British tradition. It would empower the judiciary to strike down laws that actually violate constitutional rights and limit executive flexibility, and they will take away all that power, and judiciary will have supreme power, constitution will have supreme power, and nobody is ready to lose that power, right? They're not ready to give it up yet. And the Union and Scottish independence, devolved nationalists such as Scottish National Party, they said that any new UK constitution would be fundamentally flawed unless it explicitly defines legal mechanism for member nations like Scotland so that they can have referendums and choose independence. That way, they are also scared that UK might get disintegrated. That's why another reason not to do this. Scope and implementation. Codifying the constitution cannot be limited to devolution, right? We cannot limit it to that because it would require explicitly defining exact roles of parliament, monarchy, House of Lords, judiciary, fundamental rights. Monumental legal and political undertaking. This is nothing short of a revolution for Britain. At this point, this is nothing short of a revolution. They would undergo entire structural change for the nation. Huge thing to do, huge thing to do. That will have large scale political implications and obviously multiple challenges, right? Yeah. Do you understand that, first of all? Yes? Okay. Now let's understand what is the difference between Indian and UK constitution, apart from the fact that written and non-written, right? UK written, unwritten, uncodified, flexible. India written, codified, rigid, flexible, mix. In terms of sovereignty, Parliament has the sovereignty here, constitutional supremacy. Parliament is bound by the constitution and judicial review, right? Yeah. System of government, unitary system with devolution, federal system with unitary tilt, that is quasi-federal structure in India. Head of the state, constitutional monarch, that is hereditary, elected president, that is a republic, right? And judicial power cannot invalidate acts of parliament, judicial review is limited. Here they can strike down anything and everything if it goes against the basic structure, right? These are the basic differences why a written constitution gives us a certain edge and stability over the longer run. Clear? But then the question comes, if UK today decides to go towards a written constitution just like India, what would it have to do? How would they go about doing this? What would be the steps required to actually transfer it to that? So let's understand step by step what they would have to do to actually achieve the written constitution part. First of all, the political mandate and initiative. The ruling party or the cross-party coalition includes written constitution in the election manifesto. They establish a political mandate to initiate the transition, number one. Then the Constitutional Convention or Commission. Parliament set up an independent, non-partisan constitutional convention. There the legal experts, civil society, politicians, citizens, everybody representing everybody, leaders representing everybody would sit together, determine the structure, fundamental rights, scope of governance and everything. Like we had a constituent assembly, right? Similarly, they should have a constituent commission also today and they should do this. Then comes the devolution and regional consultation. Formal negotiations with the devolved governments of Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, right, and the regional mayors in England also. They can codify the division of power, funding guarantees, regional rights. That way they can decide their future also and then mark that in their constitution. Lastly comes the public consultation and draft publication. The draft constitution is published for widespread public scrutiny. Civic debates or parliamentary committees come forward to review and gather feedback and refine the terms to make them better, right? Yeah. And then comes the drafting and enacting. Parliamentary drafters convert the text into a comprehensive constitutional bill. The document will codify executive, legislative, judicial boundaries, Bill of Rights and individual liberties, formal role and limits of the monarchy and the House of Lords. All this should be included there. Then the parliamentary debates and enactment will happen. Bill will be passed through the House of Commons and the House of Lords across multiple readings and votes. And then the national referendum will come to grant the document democratic legitimacy above the ordinary legislation that is already existing, right? They will do that And then the national public referendum is held across all 4 nations under the UK for the new constitution. This is an optional step, of course. This is an optional step because a referendum of an entire country, that is strictly optional. India did not go through that. We trusted our leaders to set up something that will be good for India. That's it, right? A referendum for people was never done. So this is an optional step that they can undergo this if they feel like the public is educated enough and ready to do this. They can do this, right? Yeah. Royal assent and effective date. Once approved by the voters, monarchs grant the royal assent and then they establish it on the official implementation date, right? And that way they can establish entrenchment and judicial review part also, and different majorities for every aspect, right? That is how they go about doing this. Part of the procedures can differ slightly according to the internal systems and the kind of constitution they decide to adopt. But in case they do, this is the basic structure where they would have to undergo the entire procedure to establish a constitution. Is right? Yeah. That is how it is done. And on that note, if you would like to discuss more such current affairs with us, let me tell you that we meet every day, Monday to Saturday at 8:30 AM live to discuss the Hindu newspaper, PIB analysis, as well as questions from the previous session. That is the structure of the class that runs on the Drishti IAS English channel. And you can join the channel, join the class, Monday to Saturday, 8:30 AM live. All right. On that note, we have a question for you. Read the question and give us your answer in the comment section. Read quickly. Done? All right. Before moving forward, let me tell you very important information for all of you. An IAS foundation course is starting from the Noida Center live online also for English medium, right? And under that you'll get structured classes, class notes, and also prelims and mains booklets, answers evaluation, everything. Plus for 3 years you get prelims test series, current affairs and current affairs magazine home delivered for 3 years. That's right, under this one GS foundation course that is starting from 24th of August. So you better join it before that date. All right. To join this, you can go to the Drishti IAS website or Drishti Learning app, or at the same time you can visit Noida Center also if it is feasible for you. And if you have any further queries regarding this, you can give us a call on 87501. All right. Okay, that's about it. And that was our session for the day. Thank you so much for joining in. We'll look out for your answers in the comment section. Quickly give us your answers and we'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe. And do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.